Hey Rex,
You.
I'm back. Hello. Do you mind
Hello.
if I add Gail so she can listen in?
Absolutely.
Okay. Wait, absolutely as in you mind or no, I'm
Huh?
just messing with you. Add
Let's
people to this call. I'm gonna add you.
add
I added
you.
her. Okay,
Yay.
there. Yes.
Yes. And I guess we can add Siphon too.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going, Gail?
Yes.
What? Hi.
Hello. We
Hey.
are here for the darkening, the world of
Nice.
darkening.
Let's see.
I'm so excited.
Nice.
Hopefully it'll be well worth it. This particular one that I'm working on for you is going to be uh, one that's very special.
I don't know whether to be like excited or like should I should I be afraid? Are there midgets? Is there an equivalent of midgets in this story?
There are no midgets in this story, unless you consider
Dang.
your fellow high schoolers to be midget-like in personality and all that other stuff.
Sounds accurate. I'm really proud of myself. I came up with her backstory in like what, like an hour?
And I like it. It's pretty cool. It's an interesting character. I honestly thought you might have gone for more something leaning more towards honestly like a Shiro type character.
Oh no.
Most people tend
This
to
is
lean more towards like a character that's similar to one of their other characters when they
okay.
go and join into these games. And it's not like to say that it's a bad thing to do at all. It just means
Yeah,
that
it's
it's
just
something.
what usually happens.
Yeah, it's just something I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So what's up, Gail? What are you still doing up?
She's talking
I'm
to
talking
me.
with Lane. We're
Oh.
talking about porn.
No. Yes, we
Uh,
were totally talking about
I am very unsurprised.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been thinking about like because I mentioned to someone I don't remember this to so many I've been talking to a lot of people, which is great because I don't have a life and I can use the internet to talk. But anyway, I've been thinking about having a person with like a temper problem, and then I was like, why don't I just make her like really difficult for me to play, like someone I who is really
KG.
different from myself.
KG.
No, but like Kid Ghost is still really reserved. And like
Guys.
almost all of my characters have a really thick sense of self-consciousness, like control. But this girl was really just like temper problem and emotional and high schooler and does whatever she wants and spends a lot of money and drinks with her posse in
I
high
dig it.
school. And I was just like,
I
like all
dig it.
right, let's do the thing.
What's this?
This is the
Oh,
room for that we use to run these campaigns, and also where we roll all of our dice. So,
I have to like sign up.
Hmm.
yeah, you have to. If you're gonna be playing the game, you eventually are gonna need to sign up because this is where we do all the dice rolling.
Oh, well then can I just do it?
Yeah, you can just
Yeah, go
join.
ahead.
Like,
Do I have to put my real name here? This is
yeah, do I have to put the real name here?
That's up to you. I mean, it doesn't really matter one way or the next. It's the internet.
I'm gonna put Hal.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll put Anna.
I mean, you can always
And
change the
B.
name late. You can always change the name later on, inside
Mm-hmm.
the account itself. Like you can change your what other people will see. Like
Cool.
right now, my
Oh
icon
yeah, I
says
see
Raven
it.
Mirage instead of my actual name.
This is your actual name to me. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm just special.
Are you in the? You're actually able to see in the campaign because I'm not seeing you yet.
Yeah, oh, join game, okay. There it is.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah!
Yeah. Oh, there you are.
Oh, there's like a jukebox. What the heck? The hecky?
Let me go get the music real quick. You know, whenever I see stuff like this, I kind of expect it to be, you know, a dumb sort of a song, but, this actually is very surprisingly good. So I'm going to give it to both of you, and, actually, let me see if there's a way to make this more of an ambiance.
Oh, there it is.
Just in the background. Repeat.
Who is Anna K?
Me.
Oh, Skill.
Oh, technically, it's actually my nickname, Anna, from my Hosanna.
Oh, I see. Why is this board all fucked up looking? Whatever.
Huh?
You can draw on the board!
Yes, you can.
I'm just. Oh, look at that scribble.
Wait, how do I erase it? Damn it, I don't know how to erase.
You don't. You
No!
don't. Put some dicks in it. I'm just gonna like smiley face. There you go.
Okay, here you go. This is the... Oh, size that work.
Rotate, fancy, rotation tool.
Okay. I'll let you guys keep playing around with that for a little bit. This is while I go through a quick tutorial of how you use this system. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is, what you're going to do is you're going to go up to the gear again, and go over, right above the video and voice, you're going to see something that says Enable 3D Dice. Go ahead and click that and activate it. If you go to the gear, in the upper right corner,
Here.
gear.
Oh, enable 3D dice.
Yep, Enable 3D
Enable
Dice.
3D dice. Okay, I did it.
Alright,
Then
and this is
what?
what it does. If you see a dice rolling on the screen, then that means
Yeah.
okay. Now what that now here's how you go about typing it in. I'm going to go ahead and give you the I'm going to type it in for you. Just take out the space between the / and the roll. And you type that into the chat box over inside the Roll20, and it should start rolling a dice. One 10-sided dice. Can you do me a favor and quickly type in /roll 1d10 into the chat, so that way I can make sure that's working for you. And same for you, Gail, if you want. Huh?
Roll. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, now
Oh man, I got a 10.
nice.
So you write that roll 1d10 to make the dice roll?
Yes.
So it's basically it's one.
I'm not exactly gonna play because like I haven't made a character. I'm just like
Oh, no.
The game goes.
This is just a basic tutorial how everything kind of flows in.
Oh,
So
I can try it?
oh, absolutely. You can roll the dice. It's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry so much. If you want to play, you can play. I'm always happy to introduce new players to World of Darkness because it's fun. There you go. You managed to get it. Okay, so that's good. Now, what that means is it's going to roll one 10-sided dice. So when I change it up and say roll, oh, I don't know, 5d10, that means that I'm going to roll 5 10-sided dice.
Why are you rolling 10 dice? 5 dice?
That's the way that the game works. So on the character sheet for when you go in and take a look at your character sheet, let's do something like, say, your wits and composure. count up the number of dots that you have total
Mhm.
between wits and composure.
Yeah.
What's
I have
the number?
4.
You have 4? So that means when I ask you to roll wits and composure, that means you roll 4 dice.
BRB.
Ah, I see. Oh, good deal.
And a success counts as an 8, 9, or a 10. The more successes you get, the better your character does at that action. Therefore, it's in your best interest to take actions that your character can do. It can get a lot of dice at.
Mm-hmm.
It basically is, it increases their chance to succeed.
I see.
When you get a 10, that means you have a chance to re-roll again. So let's take a look at the roll that I just made. I got an 8, a 5, a 10, a 7, and an 8. Those 2 8s count as success. That 10 also counts as a success. So that means I have 3 successes so far. But I get a reroll.
Ah.
So I get to add more. In this case, it stops right there. But that's okay. 3 successes is usually enough to get the job done. And that's pretty good. As you may have noticed under your skills tree, at the very top of each of the skills it says -3 untrained. Or what that means is if you have 0 dots in it, usually I do stuff like, say, let me grab your character sheet again. So let's take a look at your character sheet, and it says you've got a lot in athletics.
Mm-hmm.
And your specialty is in acrobatics. So let's say I'm going to do something like, I would like you to roll your athletics and dexterity to do this, this acrobatic act. So welcome back. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, what you're going to say is, okay, I have a specialty in acrobatics. So let's say you're going to jump from one building to the other. This is going to take your athletics check because you're running and this is an act of physical fitness. And you're going to use your athletics and your strength to jump. Just do a long jump. It's not necessarily an acrobatics type thing. It doesn't require a lot of dexterity. But what that means is we take athletics, which has 4 dots, and we take your strength, which has 3 dots. And now you roll a total of 7 dice. Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, as we go along, and let's say something else happens. You are required to use a computer. You have 0 dots in computer, and I say, I need you to roll a wits in computer check. Well, you have 0 in computer, which means because you have 0 in it, that subtracts 3 from your total dice pool. So because you have 3 wits, when you hit 0 or negative dice, what will end up happening is you roll something called a luck dice. And then you just kind of make sure you tell me out loud and say, Rax, I'm rolling a luck dice. When that happens, you roll 1d10. Just 1 dice. If you fail, it counts as a critical failure. Something like, say, okay, well, you tried to, go onto the internet. You ended up opening up a bunch of programs that you weren't supposed to open because of your critical failure, and now the computer is just shutting down and it won't turn back on.
Okay.
Things like that can happen throughout the game. Other particular events, such as, say, Cal's character, for instance, was running away from something and got a critical failure. So their legs literally gave out underneath them in a situation where they needed to get away, but they couldn't. And the monster got them. So it's those kind of things that will happen all throughout, and that's why you usually travel in groups to make sure that you are very well, you know, your group is well rounded to cover for your weaknesses.
Mhm.
Now, let's get into your character.
Yeah.
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 All right. So Noel's a high school student. She's more of a 10 years of competitive gymnastics, straight A's under his drinking with her posse, lived a good life. Single father, you know, and never lived in need. Reality of action. She had junior years, it was evident that she would not be able to afford college tuition with their savings. She decided to write an athletic scholarship using. Oh, classmates over the summer.
Yeah. I kind of steered away from the
That's
tragic accident in the past. That kind of made it like something's gonna happen now, kind of thing.
I really like that. That's really what that's a good setup, and it leads to a lot of interesting things. Is Noelle still staying with her father?
Yes, she is. To her
Dismay.
dismay.
I'm sure. Okay. At this point, we're going to change. We're going to shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to try to refrain from using the words "your character," and I'm going to speak as if I were telling the story of Noelle.
Okay.
There are going to be points in time where I'm going to ask you to make a decision. So whenever it comes to those points, just think about what Noelle would answer. How would Noelle react to such a situation? And then we will go from there.
Okay.
As all good stories typically start, it was a day rather like any other. Nothing particularly stood out. But this day, you woke up this morning, went downstairs. Your father's made breakfast for you, as is, pretty normal. But he's so busy with work that it's not uncommon for you to go downstairs and see that he's gone already, and you have to eat breakfast alone.
Mm-hmm.
Over the past few weeks, things have been very rough financially, almost rougher than any other point in your life. Uh, New taxes have come in, and they're making your father have to pay more to sustain your state of living. And he works hard. You never ask questions of him, and you trust that he's doing the best that he can. And with that in mind, you finish up your breakfast and go out into the town looking around and seeing if you can find a job today. You can't even, I mean, you guys had to sell the car, and you're left with bikes to go rolling around town with. You figure, okay, well, it's not too bad. I get to work out, keep in shape. But it always kind of bothered you how your life took such a huge turn all of a sudden. As you're walking around alongside your bike, you decided to just take a stroll instead and try and enjoy the day. You notice a strange little sign stapled up onto the side of a lamppost, or an electrical pole in this case. It said, it's written up on it is looking for. Oddly enough, it almost seems to just speak to you as it says, looking for an odd job, willing to pay arrive at this address. It's not too far from here, and it's actually in a public location. But it strikes you as odd that someone would post a job without even really saying what the job was. What do you choose to do?
Mm. Hmm. Take the paper off the post and then head to the location.
Alright. You tear the paper off and you take a look at the address, going over it a few times, before you hop on your bike and head off down to that direction. You aren't really sure even how much the pay was going to be, but anything is going to help at this point, and just anything that can help your dad not worry so much about the money would help. Once you get to the place, it's in a small patio in front of a restaurant. Some random Mexican restaurant, as is normal here in Southern California. You arrive. It says the address down at the bottom. You look over, definitely at the right spot, but you don't see anyone that particularly stands out to you, or looks like they're trying to get your attention, or someone who's just collecting any of these odd job papers. And for a moment you figure, oh damn it, this is a prank, this is a waste of my time. What do you choose to do?
Hmm.
You can have a seat, go inside, take a look inside the restaurant, maybe someone's in there. Or you could just crumple up the paper and throw it away.
I think the last choice would be accurate. Just kind of crumple it up and throw it really hard at the ground.
With an aggravated sigh, crumple up the paper and throw it to the ground, and with a huff you turn around. As you do, you notice an odd-looking person standing a little ways ahead. Wouldn't be so odd were it not for the fact he was looking directly at you. He wore a hood of some kind, and his face was rather shadowed. He was carrying a small little, what looked like a small little exercise bag filled with some kind of, some blocks of some kind.
Blocks of some kind.
He walks up to you, notices the paper on the ground, and at this point, I need you to make a perception check as you look at him. So what you're going to do is roll a wits and composure check.
Okay. That's 4 dice. 4d10.
Catch on quick.
Ah,
That's
cool.
2 successes. You look at them. You look at them and begin to notice that the way that the blocks were moving, it was blocks of paper of some kind. And you could take a pretty good guess at what that was. He looks at you. He's much taller, and you can tell he's much more physically built than most of the guys that you've ever seen in your life. He towers over you. And even then, looking up at him, you still can't get a good read on his face. But you can see his jaw, his rather adamantly cut jawline with stubble growing here and there. The guy looks like he's a bit unkempt, a little dingy. He looks down at you and he looks at the paper and says, "You here for the odd job?"
Mm. So maybe how much does it pay?
He reaches into his bag, pulls out a wad of cash. As you look at it, you can tell this is not just any small amount of cash either. It was pretty hefty. All 20s. You aren't even sure how much he's holding in his hand right now. You can only assume the bag is filled with this stuff. And he
So-
quietly...
Oh, wait, okay.
He just holds it in front of you and says, "I think we can come to an agreement." He puts the money back into his bag. And for a minute, you almost could swear that you get... This is way too convenient, and that's way too much money.
Yeah.
The guy must be a criminal of some kind, counterfeit bills, or he's got some horribly sleazy thing he wants you to do. But he just says, "I'm going to pay you a quarter up front. Consider an investment. And the other 3/4 after the job's done. I wouldn't like to talk about it here. If you don't mind coming with me, we'll go for a walk around the shopping complex, and I'll explain everything to you. We won't be going anywhere that will make you uncomfortable. We're just going to talk."
Hmm. Okay. But I get to take my bike with me. And if you touch me, I'm out. Those are my terms.
Fine by me. And he walks off, turns around, and he starts walking, expecting you to follow. For several minutes, you travel in silence as you guys start making your rounds around the entire shopping complex. And when he finally does speak, he says, "There's a particular person who is of great interest to us. I can't tell you who I work for, but I can tell you that we pay well. And since you're out and about taking odd jobs, I can only assume that you're interested in making a good helping of money." What we're going to have you do is pretty simple.
Hmm.
And the way he pauses kind of makes you feel a little uncomfortable. Why would they be paying something so well? And really, when you think about it, when is it ever simple? And he says, "We need you to follow somebody." That's all it is. Just follow them, and then you come right on back to the little restaurant over there. You tell us you tell us everything that happened, and you get the rest of the money. As far as pay goes, what I showed you was roughly $1,000. I've got about 10 grand sitting inside of this bag.
Hmm.
$2,500
Oh,
up front.
okay.
No,
2000.
yeah, $2,500 up front. and the other 7,500 after you're done.
Okay, I'm interested. But why does following someone cost so much money to have someone you don't even know do?
Because the less you know about the person, the less chances she'll know about you. And the less she knows about you, well, this is a person that's worth much more than 10 grand to know a little bit more about. And that's really all you need to know.
Yeah, I'll say you're only paying me 10 grand to follow a person that's worth more.
Well, I wouldn't get too greedy now. Because you might be getting into something that might not be as much fun as you think it is.
Oh, that's reassuring.
All you need to do, just keep out of trouble. Be discreet. And just let us know what happens. With that, he says if this is a job you're interested in taking, he pulls out a folder and hands it to you. And without even questioning it, he takes $2,500 out as promised, puts it in a small envelope, seals it, puts it down on top of the folder, and hands them both to you. You'll find your instructions inside. If you have a phone camera, that would be preferable to catch a few snapshots if you would. You'll be paid a bonus for any pictures of particular importance that you come back with.
So what do I do with this stuff after I'm done? Do I need to mail it to you?
Once you're done with your task, which you should be done within, I'd say about 2 days.
2 days.
You'll come back to this. There's instructions inside the folder that will tell you when to meet us at the little restaurant over there. Simple as that.
Alright, I'll bite, but one last question. What happens if I don't agree to your terms? What happens if I just kinda
If you just
lose track of her, you know?
Well, then, that's fine.
What the hell? Are you kidding me? It's just fine? You expect me to believe that?
No, I don't expect anything out of you. But if you want the other 7,500, you'll follow through with the rest of the job. And do your best to make sure you don't lose her. Simple as that.
Fine. Picks up the folder and the money with the teenage petulance.
As you walk away, there's a certain almost unnerving sense that you just got involved in something that is a lot bigger than you really... It's a lot bigger than anything that you've had to deal with before. And big on a scale of... There was a lot going on in the background, and the lack of knowledge that you have, the lack of knowing what's happening, probably bothers you the most. Because while he may not have made any threats, he was very threatening. And you're pretty sure that if you don't do this, the consequences might be much, much greater than the $10,000. And all you think about is your father. You've heard stories of what happens when sometimes these things don't go the way that are planned, and sometimes family members get hurt by some of the unsavory types here in Los Angeles. There's a lot of gangs in Los Angeles. A lot of them stay a lot more underground, and some of the mafias are out and about. You couldn't see his face, so you couldn't tell kind of what he was, but he gave that feeling of someone the kind of person that lurked beneath the shadows of society. But
Dad's gonna kill me. Her first thought is like, Dad's gonna kill me.
if he found out, he would. He'd be
Yeah.
furious. But you quickly push those thoughts out of your mind as you focus on the task at hand. Bring in 10 grand. Just gotta focus on that. Once you get to a spot where you can sit down on a bench, put your bike down, you firstly open up the envelope to make sure that he didn't just double cross you. You pull out the money, fresh $20 bills, $2,500 worth of fresh $20 bills. Make sure you carefully count it out. You look around, make sure that no one saw, you put it back in the envelope. In fact, it almost feels a little unnerving to be carrying this much cash around. Make another perception check.
Okay.
Oh, you got a 10.
Yay.
That's one success. Reroll.
Oh, whoops.
It happens.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
cool.
You slide the money back in, and you note that no one else is around you, which is good. There's way too much cash. You seal the envelope up and wrap it up tight, make sure that you can fit it inside your jacket. Still feels a little too bulky. Almost kind of wish he'd just given it to you in hundreds. That'd be, or a check. That would be great. But then you open up the folder. Inside the folder, you see a woman with sunglasses over her face. Some kind. You're pretty sure she's of Asian descent. Is all you can really tell from first glance. Doesn't mention her name. In fact, that's been blacked out. This whole operation starts looking more and more like some kind of an FBI or a CIA mission, and it kind of excites you. It's kind of like, oh man, this is like in the movies. And as you read through, you begin to realize how sparse the information they're giving you is. So much of it's just crossed out. You really only have a lot of pictures and some locations to work off of.
Hmm.
The first location is one of the more upscale hotels in the area, and it says that she has been seen coming in and out of that hotel over the last 3 days. She left this morning, did not seem to be carrying any bags with her, no indication of having left the hotel. Most likely will be returning. There was another place, small restaurant that she seems to go into and meets with, and you quickly note the number has been crossed out, and the people who she was meeting with have been crossed out as well.
That's sketchy.
You begin flipping more through, and you get so the first place that you can check really is the hotel. The second is the restaurant. Then there's some other locations where she seems to go at night and go into clubs. But she doesn't seem to be the partying type from what you can see of her pictures, especially since when she goes into that club, she's walking in with numerous other people who are all dressed in suits. Not the most festive party gear. And then you start getting into the really bad pictures. Places where she's been cited, numerous homicides, and there are pictures in there that are quite graphic and show one of them kind of stands out with you, of a man sitting down leaning against a wall, and it almost looks like he's just kind of having a seat, except for the picture showing some kind of a darkness sitting in front of his right in his forehead, and a spray out the back of his head. And that's only the lightest of the rest of the pictures. Many others show and indicate that whoever this person is, killing is kind of a thing, and she does it with a very big gun. You can only assume at this point that this person is obviously some kind of criminal, some kind of a murderer. And you begin to feel that weight of the money that's sitting in your jacket, and wonder to yourself, holy shit, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? What do you choose to do? She seems to frequent three types of places. The first is a hotel that she always seems to go back to. The second is a restaurant she keeps going to for dinner. And then there's there are a set of nightclubs that she seems to go to. She never goes to the same one twice, though. And every time she goes into one, there's always a report of gunshots in that area. Little clippings from newspapers of gunshots heard over at this location, or murder in the back alleys of this nightclub. Never says a name, though. And they never seem to find the criminal. But whoever wrote this file obviously thinks she had something to do with them.
Can I go home first?
Yep.
Also, guys, it's like 3 a.m.
I know. 3:30.
What are we doing?
Kind of feeling overwhelmed, so she just decides to go home and also hide the money.
That money gets more and more heavy as you go. Not in a literal sense, but on an emotional sense. You feel like everyone is looking at you and everybody can see it, and they all want to take your money. They all want to steal your money. And that's that kind of feeling that you get when you're carrying this much cash on you, where it's, oh God, I'm going to get attacked. I'm going to get mugged. They're going to steal all this money. Why am I carrying so much money? But you make it home as quickly as you can, nervous as you are. Your notoriety flaw. Tell me a little bit more about what were going through when you decided to put that on.
It's a small town, so when that incident in senior year happened, the incident where she kind of snapped and, well, word is she injured a teammate of hers on the gymnastics team.
Mm-hmm.
So word spreads fast in a town that size.
Yep.
Especially with your single father being the way he is. And people have just kind of expected Noel to be the uncontrollable rage fest kind of. Yeah.
Understandable. All right. That just makes the staring so much more painful, because everybody knows you and everybody can see it written on your face. You could swear that the way that they were looking at you, they knew that you were hiding something and they were judging you because of it. But you make it back home, all your cash intact. What do you decide to do? Your dad's not going to be back home for another... He's going to be pulling another late night tonight. He's got his 2 jobs to worry about. Pretty much have the whole day to yourself.
I think it was in 20s, right?
It was in 20s.
It was in 20s. And go to her room and then hide most of it under her mattress or in the bedding or whatever.
Okay. You go in.
And then, yeah.
You start. You take the envelope and you spread it out a little bit more. Do you take anything out of it?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say she tucks about 200 into a discreet place on herself.
Okay. You hide the rest of it. Once you're finished up with that, where do you decide to go?
Can I check what kind of restaurant it was that she went to?
It's a Japanese restaurant. Most people are pretty, especially in a town like this. It's at the outskirts of LA. Small little place, so it still... Sometimes you get these unsavory types out this far. But even so, it's a mostly... it's a place where you've got a lot of Mexicans. You have a lot of white trash that live out there. And for the most part, a Japanese restaurant is naturally going to get all of the attention because it's different. But it's a sushi bar. Also the only place in town that seems to serve VIP customers. And when you see pictures of her walking into this restaurant with her group, you actually see the restaurant owner. Once again, small town. You know everybody here. Everybody knows you. And you see him actually going out of his way to open up the door for her.
Oh.
So whoever she is, she's obviously got connections, power, money. She's got something going on here.
Hmm. What's my relationship with the restaurant owner? I guess.
You
Hmm.
could hear something. You heard
Oh,
something. It sounded like something was tapping on the window.
oh shit. Ignore it. Maybe it's a stupid kid.
Probably is. You know the neighbors, a bunch of little asshole prick kids. So, uh, your relationship with the restaurant owner, he doesn't really mind you too much. He just doesn't really. He's not the kind of person that is very sociable. He keeps his head low and he just likes to worry about his work. So, as far as you're concerned, he's a relatively pleasant guy. You know his daughter and his son. They go to the same school that you used to go to, and they were freshmen when you were going through when you were graduating. He's got twins, and they're good. They're pretty good kids, quiet types. But you didn't really know them too much. You just know about them, and you know what you heard. And what I need you to roll. Ooh, you don't have streetwise. No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. As far as you know, this restaurant is the kind of place that would turn away poor customers that don't have money.
Oh, I see where this is going.
And it's not necessarily because he's a douchebag or a bad person. The reason why is because all the white trash people out here, because everybody out here is the kind of, everybody knows each other and everybody gets along fairly well. They kind of expect to be able to pay a favor for a favor, if you know what I mean. So they kind of expect to get some free stuff. But the kind of restaurant that he's running, not something that's sustainable with favors. So that's the kind of place that the restaurant is, and you're smart enough to know that it's not because he's being mean or horrible about it, or he's just a horribly frugal or thrifty person. He's got to pay the bills. You can understand that much. Your dad occasionally does some jobs for him, fixing up the place. That's about all you know about Mr. Koji.
Okay.
The hotel, on the other hand, it is one of the more upscale hotels in the area. Very well kept. Kind of place where high-profile people tend to go, and the kind of place that you always felt had way too many secrets.
Well, would someone like her be like automatically out of place going in somewhere like that?
Not necessarily. You've seen worse looking people go in. And that's the problem. This hotel has been quote unquote haunted for the longest time. But what bothers you the most is the people that go into it. They always, you always hear rumors floating around going through high school and saying, "Oh yeah, we'll totally spend a night over at that hotel." But no one ever does. And that's because of the stories that come out of that place. You see, you get stories out of that place all the time about, the hauntings and, Big Wolf. Everybody knows that ghosts aren't real. But they say that they use the ghost stories to cover up for the murders that happen in that place. That's the place where you go to hide your crimes.
Oh.
Because the guy who runs the place, is the kind who would literally sell his mother to you for the right price.
Oh my gosh.
At least that's what everybody says.
Oh god.
He probably also would kill his mother and hand you her liver, if you gave him enough money.
Okay. I'm gonna assume that being an ex-college hopeful, she has a resume lying around somewhere.
Yep.
Should pick up a couple copies of that and head over to the hotel first.
Alright. You head over to the hotel, and the guy comes up and says, "Oh, hey, Kingsley's kid, eh? How can I help you?"
Looking for a job. Same old.
A job? Job. Well, I just happen to have a couple of odd jobs lying around for you, and we'll see where we go from there.
Cool.
I like Kingsley. Your dad passed through here not too long ago. I figure I owe him a little favor to at least give you a couple of help you earn a couple of bucks.
Awkward laughter at Bucks. Yeah.
Now, what I need you to do for me real quick is to help with a couple of he looks around for a moment as if he's kind of almost looking for an excuse to hire you.
I could change the sheets and stuff in the rooms.
Yeah, you can go take care of that.
Okay.
Here, I'll have one of the cleaning ladies go through and give you the rundown. I got some things to take care of, and you kind of notice his attention gets focused on a car that has parked up front. And he says, "Look, I got some customers I got to take care of. So please go through, talk to the cleaning ladies, and we'll talk payment after. Sound good?" And
Alright.
without even waiting for the agreement, he goes straight over and opens the door. You see a really strange-looking group of people walk in. They are
Wearing mankinis. Sorry. Sorry.
Way to break the moment, Gil.
I'm so sorry. I had to like intercheck in because it's a strange group of people wearing bikinis.
It's a group of four people. It's a group of four
What?
people.
4 people.
2 of them are carrying a large amount of books with them. And there's something really unsettling about the way that their shadow moves around. For when you don't look directly at the shadows, it feels like their shadows are moving in ways that the light shouldn't work. And they're a little too dark.
What kind of drugs are they on? Dang.
And the other 2, they're definitely not from around these parts, foreigners. The way they talk to each other, they seem to be talking in German. But one of them is carrying a large oddly shaped case. You've never seen a case shaped like that before. And they both seem to be carrying these long bags. Make a perception check.
Okay.
You can hear the soft jiggling of metal on metal inside of those cases. And whatever's inside is very heavy. You also take note of the owner. He opened the door for them, but he looks very nervous about something. He looks outside and, is quickly moving people around, having bellhops get out of their way. He doesn't have any of the bellhops help these people. He has them stay out of their way and just get the elevators prepped for them. They also seem to be checking in but as soon as they walk up to the desk, they just pick up a card from the front and walk straight to the elevator.
Watch the floor number to see where they stop.
They seem to stop around the, right up over into the 6th floor. And then you are confronted by the cleaning lady. Once again, everybody around here knows everybody. Oh, Noel, good to see you. I heard you're going to be helping out today. We have a really busy day, and I'm so thankful that you're here. We need a couple of rooms that need some cleaning out, and a couple of them need a little bit of discretion, if you know what I mean.
Okay, what kind of discretion?
You know, sometimes people... It's a hotel. If you see something weird, just let me know, okay? And I'll take care of it for you. I'll make sure you get some of the easier rooms, alright?
Okay.
But as you get into the elevator and, you know, help push the cleaning lady's cart around, she just won't stop talking.
Oh, God.
You see the owner come up and he says, Philomena, don't take her to the 4th floor. And she says, oh, of course, I never even crossed my mind to take her to the 4th floor. And you see him, you see her press the 2nd floor, and she says, you know, she goes through and explains the whole process, how they work from bottom to top, clean everything, and then work from top to bottom again, clean everything out, make sure all the rooms are nice and set, and she just goes through everything, and you're kind of just sitting there like, oh my god. So, what do you go through, clean out a bunch of the rooms. It's pretty plain, simple job. Very, very simple. Boring job. But, hey, whatever. Until you get around to the 5th floor. You walk into a room. You've already gone through, cleaned at least 20, 30 rooms at this point. Just vacuuming, fixing the bed, all that stuff. And you walk into a room and you notice that something seems a bit off. You open the door and you feel, I mean, you knocked the first couple of times. You said, you know, room cleaning. Wait for a few seconds. Room cleaning. No answer. You assume that they're not in. You open the door. And you are confronted with this wave of steam that's filled the entire room. At first you thought it was smoke and you were about ready to go find a fire alarm and smash it in. But steam. But there's something mixed in with it that doesn't smell quite right. Make a perception check again.
Okay.
It's got this coppery scent to it. This very metallic scent. And you can hear the water still running from the bathtub. And that's when, about around the time you notice that the water is still seeping out from under the door. There's a lot of water seeping out from under the door. What do you do?
kinda freak out and run into the hallway and call for the cleaning lady.
Philomena comes running over and notices and says, you go clean up that room over there, please.
Well, what happened? What's happened here?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Discretion. And then she closes the door. She pushes the cart inside and says, that room over there, I think needs some cleaning. Just fix up the bed and wait for me. And with that, she goes into the room and closes the door. And you hear the deadbolt being locked.
Rude.
What do you choose to do?
Hmm. She took the access card with her, didn't she? Or do I have one for myself?
You have one for yourself.
Alright, let's go to the 6th floor. That sounds like a good idea.
You go up to the 6th floor, and you find yourself standing in the same sort of hallway setup. You see, one of the doors is slightly opened, hanging ajar. And you can hear those European voices coming from inside the room.
Hmm. Hmm. Knock on the door next to them, and as if you're still room cleaning.
You knock on the door and say, housekeeping. And then you, unfortunately, hear someone actually opening the door on the other side.
Oh fuck.
They open the door and you see the strange lady, one of the strange two of the two. There was a man and a woman. She looks at you, and now that you are making eye contact, you notice that her eyes are very, there are a lot of, the dark rings are under her eyes. She looks like she hasn't slept in, judging from the way she looks, months. And she looks at you with this exhausted look. Stares at you for a moment, and then looks around in the hallway, very slowly, very deliberately. Looks to the left. Looks to the right. And then looks back at you. Housekeeping, huh? What do you do?
Let's think. Yeah, well, actually, there's a lady with me. She's gonna bring the card up, but she wanted to check if the room was empty or not, because, well, it's clearly not empty, so we don't have to clean this room, so it's all good. I'm just gonna wait for her to come back up now and move on to the one next to you, so, yeah.
She looks to the left and looks to the right. Looks back at you and says, I wouldn't do the door on the left. The door next over. I'd say you go about 3 doors that way. And she points over to the right. Says, go 3 doors that way. First door on your right. I think that's the one you want. And then she closes her door very softly. You hear strange sounds coming from the European group. Lots of clicking noises and what sounds like someone grinding something against metal. What do you choose to do?
So none of the European people are speaking a language I understand.
As of right now, no. You're not quite sure what they're saying but even with your academics, you know that it's a language that you haven't heard before. It sounds like some weird mix between German, maybe a little bit of French. You don't know how that works, but you can't understand what they're saying.
Maybe I think I'll listen for a little longer. If that is an option, yeah.
You hear them continuing to talk and grind their something against some that metal that it's like you know how when chefs sharpen their knives?
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
sound kind of like that, except much longer and more drawn out. And you also hear something that sounds a little bit like aluminum, some kind of thin aluminum tubes being loaded into something that's clicking and spinning. And just constantly doing this. And they keep seeming to talk. You just hear a lot of noise going on over there. Where do you choose to go from here? Because eventually one of them comes up and looks outside the door, looks around for a moment, and then finally closes it. He sees you, and you know he gives a pleasant smile, but that kind of pleasant smile that that says it felt forced. And he closes the door.
This is suspicious. This counts as information, kind of, right? You take a picture of the door.
Okay, you get the room number and everything.
Yeah, she's like, this counts as information. And then go back downstairs. Or down the elevator to...
You recall the strange lady telling you that the door that you're interested in is 3 doors down and to the right. You still have time. You're... At least no one's gone looking for you yet.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll take a picture of that door too.
Something seems a little strange with this door. At least with the other doors. This door... when you stand in front of this door, everything goes quiet. Not like walking around here where you hear a bunch of noise, lots of movement, everything. But this door feels very quiet. It's the only way you can really describe it.
It's quiet. It's kind of irritating. Can't. Just hearing myself think. Okay. Yell the room housekeeping again.
Housekeeping. Put the card in. Slide it out. Unlocks for you.
Stupid door.
You open the door. And in places where a window should be, you see a wall and another door.
What the fuck? It's hotelception. Is there anything else in the room? Is that a perception check?
No, I'm just doing a general sweep of the room. You can see that no one actually is staying in this room. It's pristine. Except that door that's there. And, well, there's actually, there's a very, strange looking necklace that looks like it was left behind. Kind of expensive looking.
Let's take a...
It's got a gold chain. Beautifully crafted gold chain. Except the little locket looks like it's in the shape of it looks like it's in the shape of two hands crossed, like two hands shaking, or more like the hands of two lovers wrapped on top of one another. And it looks like it should be able to open. But every time you fiddle with it, it remains unmoving.
Just take a picture of it and put it in your pocket. Is there a lock on the other door?
Nope, no lock.
Housekeeping?
You knock, and then you open the door, and see the hallway.
What the fuck? What's behind you?
Also the hallway.
What? Wait. You stick your head outside the second door and look down the hallway and see if the
You open up
room number
like,
is.
You go in and you lean forward and you're about to go through it and you hit your head on something.
What?
And you realize after a very odd moment that it's a glass wall with a picture of the hallway behind it. And it's painted to look just like the hallway behind you. And when you kind of like hit your head and, you know, rub your forehead, just like, what the heck? You turn around and you see that strange lady behind you.
Oh fuck.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, flip the fuck out. Like, what the fuck?
She looks at you and she gives the most exhausted laugh you've ever heard in your life. You've never heard anyone laugh so tiredly before. He was like, and then she just walks away. What do you choose to do at this point?
Oh my god. Mutter obscenities and kick something, and then go back to the glass wall thing. How does that even work?
You're not quite sure. It's like a mirror, but it doesn't reflect anything. It just has a picture behind it.
Punch it.
You punch it, and your fist goes clean through, breaking the glass. And you find that there's a room behind here.
Ah, shit, secrets.
So it wasn't actually a. So there's a picture of a hallway, but it's actually a room.
It is.
That's really shitty. What does the room look like?
It's pitch black. Set of
Oh,
stairs
fuck.
that go down in. And you realize, you feel like you probably shouldn't be going in here. But, you already opened it. And it doesn't seem like anyone else has noticed yet.
Murderous stories, here I come. Can I pick up a piece of that glass?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's got a poster behind it.
What's
Like-
the poster?
Like, no, you know that when the way that mirrors are set, you have glass and you have a very silver sort of lining behind the glass itself.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like that, except the silver lining has been replaced with a portrait of the hallway, obviously in some attempt to confuse you. Which
I see.
seemed to work.
Ugh. Is there... So can I pick up or just like break off a piece?
Oh, easily. There's a bunch of them lying on the floor.
Yeah, okay. Let's just
All right.
kind of pick one up. In case I can throw it at someone later.
Sounds good.
Just use the cell phone my cell phone I have for light. And like look down at the stairs.
Okay. You managed to crawl into the room. Using your cell phone for light, you descend down the stairs until you find where it turns. And you, in your mind, you're thinking, how is this possible? There's nothing back here outside of the building. It should lead out into the alley. You're on the 6th floor. How do they have stairs here, and why are they here? You go down deeper and deeper in until you see a light of a small room ahead. It's just a single light hovering over a door.
Hovering.
I wouldn't say hovering, it's just a light
Oh, yeah,
set into
okay.
the wall, and it's just kind of hanging there loosely. It's one of those stupid lights with a chain that you yank on and turns on.
Hmm. Is the rest of the room clean? Ish?
No, it's.
Is it,
I wouldn't call it clean.
hmm.
You look down at the floor and you see a lot of foot traffic. When you open, and do you decide to open up the door, by the way?
Debating. Yeah, okay, let's open up the door.
You open up the door. And you see a pair of legs. Up ahead, you see a cross section, like a T intersect, more of a cross intersection. Right around the corner, you see a pair of legs kind of being dragged just out of sight.
Nice.
And you
Oh my
see
god.
water trailing behind where where what looks like a body was being dragged
Ho 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 ho.
Oh my god.
across these linoleum floors.
Huh. What, can I do a perception? Or how
Yeah.
far can it, like, what's at the end of all the different hallways?
Just more
Or
doors.
as far as I can see. Oh my god!
You see a lot of doors, and they're similar to the one that you just walked through. Apparently, there's some kind of a network here of tunnels.
Hmm. Hmm. What's the floor is linoleum. Okay, can I go to the, I don't want to get caught, so walk in the other direction and take that door, I guess. So many doors.
All right. When you go in, when you wait for the whatever it is to finish getting dragged, you hear a door close, and then you finally take the time to go out, open up the door on the opposite side, and go through, and you start following the water.
In the opposite direction.
Yeah. Until you find yourself looking at a small. It stops at almost a dead end, except there's a small little panel of some kind just in front, just above where where your head is, and stops off around where about around mid torso height, like
Mhm.
this, almost like a window of some kind. Except when you look closer at it, you realize that it's a one-way mirror. It's one of those mirrors that you can see through, but whoever's on the
Oh,
other side can't see past.
I see.
And you look out and see that there's a lot of red water on the floor.
Oh my god.
A lot of red. Holy shit. Good luck. Noel.
So
And you look over and see the bathtub is full of is full of red water with a razor on the floor.
okay, I'm out of here. Can I go back the way we came?
turn around and see someone had just got done walking past your hallway. You just hear the footsteps. But you start trying to creep your way out and get around the corner and take a look left and right. You don't see anybody. You're in the clear for now. You try and sneak your way back out where you came from. You eventually make it out to where you found this place and carefully try and get through the mirror. Open up the door. You don't see anybody here. And you just where do you decide to go from here?
I guess down to the room that was on the 5th floor that I wasn't allowed into.
All right. You go in. As soon as you get down, you see Philomena is closing the door. She says, "Oh, there you are. I just got done cleaning the room. How's the room over there? Did you manage to get done with it?"
Yeah.
Oh, good. I knew I could count on you.
Yeah.
It's so nice having an extra pair of hands here, and she just won't stop talking after that. So, what do you go through and continue cleaning out the rest of the place until finally the day is over and you are brought back to talk to the owner, who says, "Oh, thanks for all your help," and counts out, says, "Yeah, I'm feeling generous," and he gives you $40 for about 8 hours of work. He says, "All right, thanks so much for your help, and we'll actually hand me a resume. We'll take that into consideration for later on. All right, and send my regards to your dad."
Okay, I was gonna throw a bitch fit at the $40, but I will give you the resume.
And then you see her walk in. A woman with the sunglasses. She walks in, and you see the owner is now in almost a state of panic that he didn't open the door for her. She obviously doesn't care, but he runs over to the elevator and quickly hits the button so that way it can hurry up. And you see a bellhop inside. He is about ready to take her bags, and then he drags her out of the way, the bellhop out of the way, and says, "Oh, sorry so much. So sorry for everything. Please, right this way, ma'am. Your room is all set and ready for you." She gives a nod, turns around, and you see her group of people walk in behind her, and oh, alright. And she goes up, and you keep an eye, and you actually see that she goes to the 4th floor.
Oh. Oh man, I forgot all about that floor. Okay, go up to the counter and tell them, I think I left my cell phone up on one of the floors. Do you mind if I go up and take a look?
Alright. You need to make a persuasion and manipulation check.
Persuasion and manipulation. Oh, I only get 1. Yay! Oh shit.
Huh?
Okay then.
How come you only get 1?
Huh?
It says persuasion you've got 1, 2. Manipulation you've got 1, 2. So you should be rolling 4 dice?
Oh, persuasion 2. Oh, okay. Well, there's 1. 3D. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dang it. Huh.
Alright. You get 1 success, and that's enough for the guy behind the counter. You can tell he just doesn't care. And says, yeah, here, just you know what to do. Just and he hands you the access card, and you go about your way. The owner seems a little more flustered over what just happened, and he's grilling into like one of the bellhops, so pissed off. You're not quite sure about what, but he's upset. He's really mad about something. Doesn't even pay any mind to you. You get into the elevator, and you wait for the elevator to come back down, and you go back up. Where do you go?
Fourth floor.
You head up to the 4th floor. And what you find is, the same. You find a similar setup. Except this is a hallway that leads to a single door at the far end. Obviously to a very big suite.
Ugh. Okay. There's no one around, it's just the hallway.
Yep.
That's weird. Go down to the door and listen, I guess. See if I can hear anything.
You listen, you don't hear any sounds.
Okay, well, I'm gonna knock on the door, I guess. Looking for a cell phone.
You see the woman come. You hear the door opening. You see the woman open up. And you can actually see her without her sunglasses. And first most noticeable trait is one eye is very bright blue, but not naturally that way. You almost see what looked like she tattooed her iris. She looks at you and says, "You're supposed to be the new housekeeping?"
Yeah. I'm
opens
kind
it-
of lost.
Before you even say kind of lost, she opens up the door
Oh
more,
god.
grabs you, like rather forcefully, drags you in, and kind of just says, "You missed a spot." And you see there is, like, her bed is still kind of messy. But it's not that you're a little concerned with. You're concerned with the other 10 some odd people in here. Some of them are smoking, others are going through files. But the ones that concern you the most are the ones that are looking at you right now as they're cleaning guns.
Oh my god.
And the woman with the tattooed iris, she says, she gives you a shove from behind and says, "Well, hurry up and get to it."
Uh, is well, is there any spot in particular you'd like me to focus on?
Oh, I don't know, the messy bed over in the back that looks kind of like it belongs to someone who's supposed to be sleeping in it comfortably tonight. I think that might be the general vicinity.
Alright. Okay. You don't have to be rude about it.
And then you, most of the others don't seem to pay you too much mind. They just keep focusing on their work, and when you get close enough, you see some of them pull back some of the files to keep you from seeing anything that's on them, and they keep writing and stuff like that. The people who are cleaning guns doesn't seem like they're too interested in dealing with you. The lady who is, well, being a big bitch to you right now, she lights up a cigar inside the room, and takes off her her overcoat, sets down, and has a seat. And she sits down in her chair, turns it, and it's just, leaning back with the cigar, staring at you. Just kind of watching you and waiting for you to actually get to work.
Spiteful glare. Uh. Well, since I don't have any issues with you, I guess it's just straighten this out, kind of. I don't know how to straighten a bed out, just make it look pretty.
As you begin to straighten out the bed, she watches you for a couple of minutes before she gives a sigh, stands up, shoves you out of the way, and says, "You need to fold the corners like this." She goes through and teaches you herself how to actually fold this bed. She takes care of one half and then motions to the other side. And you begin to notice something very odd about where she's staring now. She's staring at your pocket, where you have the necklace.
Definite fold the corners.
You go over to the other side and you try your best to copy what she did while trying to avoid looking at her. You're kind of scared at this point, mostly from the fact that there are so many guns in here, and she seems to know something that you don't. It's just overall, this is not a pleasant experience. As you finish up, the strange lady, she has made her way over to she's made her way over to her liquor cabinet, opens it up, and says, "So tell me, kid, you drink?"
Awkward shrug. You're too nervous to talk.
She looks at you, looks back at her cabinet, puts away some of the heavier stuff, and pulls out some more fruity looking kind of a drink, and you can kind of see the others in the room are just snickering. She pours you a small glass of this bright blue liqueur and hands it over to you, along with a small thing of cash underneath the bottom of the cup, and says, "Get out of here."
Kind of stare at it. I suppose So you kind of do I drink that?
You can. It's up to you. She doesn't seem to really care much. She just gave it to you, and now she's kicking you out.
Okay.
Freedom! So close.
Freedom.
So close. And then you open the door and you see the strange lady from before, from upstairs.
Oh shit!
The one
I
with the dark
almost
circles in her eyes.
spilled the blue stuff on her.
Her reaction is very slow, and she sees the sloshing drink, and then afterwards she kind of moves back, like, oh, something coming towards me.
Uh,
And then she says, oh, you're the one from upstairs. What are you doing down here? It's no matter.
housekeeping.
No matter, no matter. And then she moves past you, and you find yourself standing outside of this door, holding a glass of hypnotic, with about 200 some odd dollars in tip, sitting underneath the glass in your palm.
Hypnotic.
That's the name of the drink. It's a French fruit liqueur.
Oh.
It's very, very light. But you're standing outside the door now, and you have no idea what it was you just saw. But you got the impression that inside that room there was a lot of operation going on. It all belonged to that one lady in the back. That was her whole suite, but they were all in there. You're not quite sure if they sleep in there or not. You don't want to really know.
I just like what? I have liquor in one hand and dollar bills in the what? Can I knock on the door and return the drink? I can't go downstairs with this.
You knock on the door, and one of the many other people opens up the door. He looks at you, looks at the drink, and just says, "Oh, don't worry, he'll know. Just get out of here." And close the door.
Kick the door. And then run away.
You get down to the elevator, you go downstairs, and you decide that the best idea at this point would just be to leave the glass on the inside of the elevator and hope no one notices.
Yeah.
You open the door, and the door opens up, and you're out. Oh, sweet freedom. Where do you go now?
Where do I go? Do I still have that blue?
Oh, the drink? No,
Yeah.
you decided to leave it on the inside of the elevator on the floor.
It's gonna be fun to clean up. Oh. Now I have $400 on me. I go to the restaurant and buy something to eat. Been working for 8 hours.
And then you see her. You see the woman walking in now.
To the restaurant?
Yes. It's
What?
like about 10 minutes after.
I see.
You see her walk in. She sits down, oddly enough, one seat away from you.
Gonna choke on my Coke. Ugh.
You see the owner begin speaking to her in Japanese, and she responds in Japanese. You can presume that she's most likely Japanese. She puts down an order, and she actually seems to be alone. right now. Not with her enormous group.
Hmm.
She doesn't seem to notice you. It's either she doesn't notice you or she doesn't care. But she hasn't paid any attention to you thus far. Inside the restaurant, anyway.
Hmm. What should I do?
Until she finally gets her drink and the small plate of what looks like something not on the menu. And she begins eating. It looks like some kind of special kind of sushi. And she just says, and you know it's to you because you are the only two people in this restaurant.
Oh my god.
The owner steps out after he serves her food. She says, I don't know who sent you, but you have just gotten involved in something you really don't want to be involved in. That necklace in your pocket, I really would suggest you leave it here on the counter, finish up your food, and go home.
Hmm. What necklace?
She nods. She doesn't say anything else further than that. It says, how old are you, kid?
Younger than you.
I can tell. She doesn't say much more. It becomes like awkward at that point. She doesn't say much else after that. She just calmly continues eating her food. She takes her time, very deliberate. Until eventually she says, so, if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. I'm sure a young kid like yourself has plenty of them, considering you just got paid what seems to be a good amount of money to follow me around. Pretty boring job, if I must admit, but
Her attitude kind of pisses her off. Like, yeah, like you'd know. Hanging around with people with all the and then she makes like a vague gun motion.
she seems pretty amused by that. Like, your being pissed off at her seems to amuse her to some degree. She reaches into her coat, and you see her pull out this massive revolver. And she just sets it on the table. She reaches into the other side and pulls out a second revolver. Puts it on the table. She moves them to the side. After she does her little show. And says, well, now I'm not a person with, and she mimics and mocks her little hand motion. And says, what did you think you were going to find?
I don't know, dead body. I found a dead body, actually. Shit, I don't know if I should have told you that.
Alright. She keeps eating for a little bit, seeming to really think about something. And occasionally you see her eyes kind of move back over to you and looks down at your pocket again. She looks back down at her food until she says something in Japanese, causing the owner to come rushing out. And she says something else in Japanese. He goes into the back and comes out. Holding what looks like a very small box. He hands it over to her. She motions for him to go away, and he quickly retreats. She takes the box and slides it over to you. It says, if you're going to hang on to the necklace, you're going to want to hang on to this too.
What? What? Why are you giving this to me?
To someone from the outside, the things that I do may not seem to make a lot of sense. But since you're already welcoming yourself into it, I might as well see to it that you don't go in suicidally. You'll know when to use it. And with that, she doesn't even finish her food, takes her guns, puts them back into her pockets, and walks away. And she just says, we'll be in touch.
Where's this? Where's the store? Where's the restaurant owner? Like who is she? How do you know her?
He seems very nervous to answer. He says, there were, like, you notice he doesn't charge her money at all. He quickly says, oh, it's nothing. We just are good acquaintances, and I owe her a lot of favors. That's all there is to it.
You owe her a lot of favors.
The kind of favors that are very different from the ones in this town.
Frustration. Fine, okay, whatever. Do you have a picture of her or something?
He doesn't know why you'd need it, but he goes and grabs a picture. This picture is ancient looking. I mean, for you, ancient, mind you. It looks like it was at least from 20 years ago. He's in the picture and says, oh yeah, this is me. And it shows him he is much, much younger. 20 years younger to be exact. And you see him wearing like an open collared shirt, and you can see tattoos peeking up, like he's got a full body tattoo. And he says, yeah, that's me. And then you see her picture right next, like you can see her in the picture. She doesn't look like she's changed in age at all.
That's photoshopped, right?
What's Photoshop?
Oh my god. Slam her face against the wall.
He quickly closes the picture up, and inside of his wallet says, well, since you're with her, dinner's on me.
Uh, what? No, no, like that. No, no, I can't do that.
And with that, he's already walking back. He's already
God
leaving.
damn it!
He went into the
Just
back again.
discreetly pull a 20 and put it on the counter and leave.
All right. Do you take the box with you?
Uh, might as well.
It's a pretty sizable box. Big enough to, and there's something wooden inside of it. You can hear it kind of rattling around in there.
There's something what inside it?
Wooden.
Oh. Hmm. Weird. That's okay. Well, I guess it's been a long day, so time to head home. Yeah.
You get home, your dad's already asleep.
Ugh.
He made dinner for you. It's on the table.
Mm. Mm. I'm gonna just go to my room. I don't feel like doing anything.
You go to
Look
your
at the
room. Oh,
yeah,
go
and
ahead.
look at the take a closer look at the necklace.
You look at the necklace, and there's a small stain on there that wasn't there before. This black smudge on the hands. Really small, but it wasn't there before. It looked pristine.
It doesn't come off. It's just kind of.
Nope, nothing you can do is get it off. Still, really gorgeous necklace, but that tarnish is really kind of it's devaluing it.
Hmm. Uh, just kind of put the box. Oh, actually, let's open up the box now. If it's openable.
You open it and find inside is this weird looking mask. It's like one of those kabuki theater masks, except it doesn't have any slots for the eyes. It just has this face that looks like an oni, bulging eyes and the tusks coming out.
Oh.
And it looks like it, with the way the strap is set, it looks like it's actually supposed to go on your face. It looks hideous, though.
Huh. Put the necklace on the mask.
Nope, nothing seems to happen.
Huh. Hmm. Gonna sit there looking at both of them. What the fuck is going on?
You hear a tapping on your window.
Stupid kids again.
At 9 at night, though. It's a little strange.
Oh, maybe I can use the mask to scare them off. Huh.
You put on the mask, you can't see anything, and then you only imagine that you've gotten to where your window is, and you pop out. And then the tapping stops.
No, that was climactic. Stupid.
Take the mask off and whatever. Dumb looking mask.
Hmm.
You find yourself getting really tired, and you decide yourself you've done a good amount today. Definitely did a good amount. Time to get some sleep. You suddenly jolt straight up, awake. Adrenaline coursing through your veins. Like you've been asleep for a couple of hours, but there's something in this room. In your room.
Oh my god. Call for dad. Dad, is that you?
You hear something behind you. Next to the window. Actually, right at the window. You hear this long... It sounds like someone's dragging a nail across the window. You have the curtains closed, though. But you can see the way that the shadow's moving. There's something outside just running its finger over your window.
Oh my god, this music is not helping.
Keeps dragging its finger over your window.
Turn the lights on. And then open the blinds.
When you open the blinds, you find that there's no one there. But you still hear that scratching noise.
Okay, that's creepy. Kind of bang the window to try and make it stop.
You bang the window, and then it bangs back.
Oh my god.
Then you watch as your window is rattled violently.
No.
And you can
No.
almost see that something has reached on the underside of your window and is beginning to try and rip the window open.
Oh my god.
You see the necklace is nearby, and you see it is completely tarnished black. And the more that window rattles, and the longer it goes, it gets louder, more violent. And you see the necklace beginning to break apart.
Pick it up and throw it out the window.
You reach for it, and when you touch it, it just turns to like this sooty mess on your hands.
Oh shit. Gross. Grab all the files on that lady. I guess the box too, and just kind of leave your room, go down to the kitchen.
As you walk away, carrying the box with you, at this point, a little panicked over the fact that there's something outside. You get down into the kitchen and you see something outside of your window.
Oh fuck.
It's this big, hulking mass sitting outside your window. Its head lurched down low enough to where it can look inside. You just see these two giant sets of eyes. Nothing else. Nothing. No other distinguishing features. Just these two big eyes as they just stare at you. And it doesn't move.
Oh god. Well.
What do you choose to do?
Try going closer. With taking the box away, try going closer to it with your sooty hand stretched out.
It doesn't react. It just continues to stare at you. Doesn't say anything.
Does it?
It just the only thing that moves are its eyes and its head. If you move too far, it just keeps staring at you. You notice that the violent shaking outside your window has stopped. In your window in your room.
Oh god. That is freaky as hell. Try waving the mask at it.
It doesn't do anything.
Does it do anything when I put the mask on? Well, I can't really look at it when I have the mask on. No.
You can't tell. But you feel safer. You don't feel like it's staring at you.
It's not staring at me. Well. Okay. What do I do in this situation? Can I put the mask on the back of my head? Does it work the same way if I do that?
Nope.
Shit.
You actually know that when you move the mask off, you see him sliding back into view again. It's almost as if when you put the mask on, he left. But now he's back. Now he sees you again, and now he just stares through your window.
Can I go back to sleep with the mask on?
You go back to sleep. You find the mask fairly uncomfortable to wear while you're sleeping. But that night, you rest easily. You don't wake up again in the middle of the night. Until you are touched. You're shaken awake.
I scream and try to punch whoever is touching me.
You make contact and you hear your father swearing as you slug him right across the face.
Oh god. Oh my god. Are you okay? Like grab a towel or something.
You have to pry the mask off first, and
Oh yeah.
You take it off and you go over, check on, and get a towel, but then you pause when you get to the bathroom. Outside the window, even in daylight, something is there staring at you. It's not the big thing. It seems to have shrunken down. Now it's just this kind of gaunt, almost ghoulish looking figure that just clings to your wall outside and stares. When it sees you, it freezes and just looks at you. Same thing. Completely black. Almost like the tarnish on the metal. And you can just see just two big eyes. Just staring at you.
I called Dad into the bathroom. I was like, Dad, is there something wrong with the window?
Your dad comes in and says, "No, what are you talking about?"
Well, there's nothing. There's some tapping on my window last night, so I was just curious. Nothing.
He massages his jaw. Fortunately, it didn't seem like he took it too badly. He goes, "You got your breakfast downstairs. You got your breakfast in the kitchen." What do you do?
God, okay. Like, okay, well, just eat the breakfast quietly, and then, okay, Dad, I'm not feeling too good, so I'm gonna leave a little later. I do have a job lined up. It's at the hotel. They probably have more work for me because I went there yesterday, so I will see you later.
He shrugs and says, "All right."
Oh, and hand him a $40. Because that's what I made yesterday.
He says, "Guy, such a cheapskate."
Awkward shrug.
In the
Yeah.
kitchen, standing in front of the kitchen exit is that thing clinging to your door and staring at you from behind. What do you choose to do?
Mm, grab the mask, but watch to see what happens when my dad leaves.
Your dad gets up, he opens the door, and you see the thing reach over to your dad as he walks out, and he reaches into his head and takes something out. And then he goes back to looking at you again.
He's like, Dad?
He turns around. What is it?
Good luck at work?
He gives a sigh and says, "You too."
Yeah.
He rounds the corner, and then you hear the sound of his toolbox hitting the ground.
What? He was carrying it, wasn't he?
He was.
Oh, shit. Run out there.
You see the thing scuttle to the top of the building and of your house, and it stares at you from up there. Except it's got this. It takes that thing it was holding and eats it. And then you just see this horrible smile start to try and form on its face, like it's trying to figure out how to do it, and just sits up there while it stares at you. You round the corner and find your dad is unconscious and on the ground.
Oh my god. Is he alive?
You check, he's still breathing.
And he's not waking up?
He's just staring ahead.
Oh my.
He doesn't respond to anything.
What, is it like a moment of absurdity, try to put the mask on him?
You put the mask on him, but it doesn't work.
It's like, why doesn't that thing attack me? Okay, call for help, I guess. Neighbors. I don't have my phone with me.
One of the neighbors comes running over and, she says, oh no. And she calls 911. Several minutes later, the ambulance comes over and picks your father up, and you're on your way to the hospital. You begin to realize that this thing is not leaving you alone. In the car.
He's following. Ugh.
In the ambulance, that's all you could stare at when you looked out the window. He's right there. When you get to the hospital, there he is. He just follows you around and stares at you.
So, what is my dad's condition?
They're not quite sure. He's in a coma.
Oh god. What do you mean he's in a coma?
We mean he's in a coma. He's not responding to anything. He's not waking up. He is in a coma.
Well, people don't just fall into comas. He was fine this morning. He just walked out of the house and fell
Sometimes these
on the
things,
ground.
Sometimes these things happen. We're trying our best to help him, okay? We just need you to be calm.
No, your best isn't helping it here. Like, you can't explain to me why my dad is like this, okay? And I can't pay for he has to stay in the hospital though, right? I can't pay for that. We can't pay for that.
We'll worry about that after. Right now, what's most important is making sure that your father is going to be okay, and then we will attempt to try and find ways to get him to regain consciousness. As of right now, his brain activities show that he's still thinking, and that's a good sign, but he's not able to wake up.
But you don't know but if you don't know why he's like that, then you can't help him.
That's what we're trying to figure out now.
Whatever. I'm out of here. I have things to do. I need to get money. Now I have to go find that lady again. 10 grand is not going to be enough to cover that medical bill.
You see the thing now has formed this mouth on him. And he's just huddled in a corner, just around the corner, hiding behind an alleyway as you walk. And he's always a little bit behind you. He'll follow and follow, and then he'll dart into an alley.
An alley. Well, if he's gone, just start running, I guess.
And when you run, you know he's not far behind. He just darts into the alley so that way he can somewhat hide and still stare at you. Just enough to where he can always stare at you.
Stop staring! What did you take from my dad? What? Pick up a rock and throw it at him. Leave me alone.
You throw the rock at him, and it hits him, and he just keeps staring. And then, as you turn back around in a huff, getting ready to go and keep making your way to the hospital, to the hotel, you just hear this sudden, this rapid set of breathing, just this heavy breathing, just coming from the thing behind you. It just goes.
Oh, what?
And you just see it lurch up into an upright position. Before it was always crawling on the ground. Now it's standing upright. And then it charges at you.
Oh, fuck. Can I get out of the way?
You can attempt to run and try and outrun it by doing an athletics and a... You're gonna do your actual... 10. Okay, for a quick sprint, you're going to roll your strength and dexterity.
Okay, so 6. So many dice. Oh my god.
Okay, 2 9s. As you sprint away, as you dodge and sprint away, he charges and barrels past, missing you, and then he just starts clawing at the ground as he comes running at you again on all fours. He is very persistent at this point. You hear this horrible, wretched scream. It sounds, and the only thing you can think of is the sound of, it's like he stole your father's consciousness, and now he's using it. It allows him to know things. And when you run, and you run a good ways too, you get far, but it eventually catches you and pins you to the ground. It leans close to you, and it just says your name, like your father would. And then you just see its mouth beginning to open up. And it reaches down to sink those the teeth into your face. Until you hear a loud shot.
Oh god.
The thing looks up, and it obviously did whatever was shooting it. It didn't work, but it looks up anyway, just in time to see this other shadow come over, and it looks like something out of your nightmares. You are almost concerned about what it is that ran into it. It looks like some kind of nightmarish dog. A dog made... If a dog and a gorilla had merged into one and were made out of fire and brimstone.
Oh.
With eyes
That
lining
sounds
all its
like
head.
bad news. Ugh.
it grabs the thing, bites into it, and begins to tear it to shreds. And you just see it beating this thing down. And you see the weird lady is sitting there. She is chanting something over a book in her hand. And you see the other woman, the Japanese woman you met. She's holding the gun straight up in the air. She obviously was the one who fired the shot.
Keep running away, I guess.
You run away, and you run from the scene as those things, as that giant monstrosity rips the thing apart. Where do you run to?
I guess just a random alley. Just somewhere I can't hear like or at least it's kind of away from the noises of like fighting and stuff, and the shots.
It's several minutes before finally you've calmed down a little bit. And then you see someone step into the alleyway.
Oh, frick. Try to jump them?
Alright. Go ahead and make a go and make a strength and brawl check.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh no! Terrible failure.
Okay. You go flying at the shadow, only to kind of... You miss, so to speak. And you realize that it's the woman. She's standing there now, and she kind of moves herself out of the way. She's holding a jar of some kind in her hand. And she says, I told you to leave that. I told you to leave the necklace there.
Why didn't you tell me what the necklace did?
We weren't sure what it did, but we knew it wasn't going to be anything good.
What? Then how'd you know the mask was gonna help me?
I didn't.
What?
It was a lucky guess.
You're full of shit. And what's that in the jar? Like some magic juice that's gonna... that you don't know what it's gonna do?
Oh no, I know what this is. This is your father's soul.
Okay, now you're just being weird. That's not funny.
Your father's in the hospital unconscious because whatever it was that you dealt with had gone in and, well, taken something from your father, I'm sure.
How did you know that? Were you watching me?
What?
Like,
At this point, she seems to get slightly irritated. And, with that, she kind of like waits it out for you to finish going through and saying everything that you're saying. She said,
yeah.
before she finally says, "It's my job to help people from these things that you have run into. Believe me, there's much, much more. Unfortunately, for you anyway, you now know things that normal people aren't supposed to know. I'm gonna hang on to this jar,
What?
and your father will remain unconscious
What?
until you come with me. You're gonna have a new job.
No. Not this bullshit again. That's the exact thing that got me into this mess. Okay.
And this is the only way out. I guarantee you, you weren't going to be paid whatever else was left.
I'm not gonna let you take my dad's soul or whatever. If that's really what you say it is, I want that back.
You'll get it back. But first you have to do what I'm asking you to do.
That's not fair.
I don't think it was very fair of you to not listen. And because of your actions, your father suffered the consequences.
Huh. The first thing that jumped into my head was like, don't tell me what to do, and then run at her.
I mean, if that's what the character's gonna do, then she's more than
Yeah.
welcome to it.
Let's do it. So stupid.
You run at her and are instead T-boned by a giant beast that hits you like a semi-truck. It grabs you and you just see her look over at the other lady who just is continuing to chant. And you see her walk over and she says, "Look, we can't be talking here. So, you're just gonna have to, well, I guess I can't really expect you to do much of anything. But you're coming with us."
Frick you. Oh god.
And then you see her take out her pistol and she pistol whips you.
Oh shit.
You go unconscious.
Instant blackout.
When you wake up, you're tied to a chair. She comes into the room. And you recognize her because of the smell of the smoke. The cigar. On the table in front of you are most of your belongings and the jar. She says, "When I told you not to get involved, it wasn't just because... It wasn't because I was aiming to keep you from finding things or, you know, some crazy CIA mission kind of thing. I told you because you're one of those kind of people that charges in head first. I can tell. But you found out a lot of things that found a lot of things that you shouldn't have found out. Normally at this point, this is the part where I pull a trigger on your forehead and make sure that we don't have any more problems.
Ugh.
So I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you two choices. I think it's going to be a pretty easy one. The first is that if you... The first is, well, I walk over and I take this gun, put it next to your head.
Frick you.
The other option. I let you out of that chair, and you take that jar, and you go to your father. There's a car waiting outside. And you open it. Don't open it before. Don't open it before you get into that room. If you do that, your dad will wake up. But, and here's the trade-off. If I let you go, to go back to your father and pick him up, you're going to get hired by me. Full-time employment. And all of the responsibilities that come with the job. Furthermore, this is a job you're not going to be able to quit.
So either way, I'm set for life. Goody.
You'll also be required to move out of your father's home.
To where? To that creepy hotel room?
No. Not the hotel. You'll be moved into central Los Angeles. And we'll take care of everything else from there. All you need to worry about now, I think, is getting this jar back to your father. That thing you encountered. We assume it was some kind of a trap. It's been sitting in that room for a very long time, and anytime a person touches it, it tarnishes, rusts, and fades to dust. We haven't been able to track before what exactly it did. But we do know that anytime someone did that, it always ended with them and their family in comas. It wasn't until we brought in members of the Lucifuge before we truly understood what the thing was. So, I guess the big lesson here is, don't rush headlong into your problems. Noel Kingsley. It'll end up with you and a lot of other people dead. So, what's your choice? And you hear her taking her gun out behind you. Someplace where you can't see, because she's just walking in circles around you. And she has already put You can hear her putting a bullet into the chamber, closing it, spinning to make sure it's right.
Look at the jar.
There's nothing inside the jar, although it is a very strange looking jar. When you look at the lid, it has symbols scratched onto the underside of it, like a pentagram, written in blood. And little scrawlings around the scratches in blood.
Just think for a minute, and so, well, if I'm gonna work for you, then I might as well ask what your name is.
She says, my name is Sachi Shimizu. But all you need to call me is boss.
So much rage, bitch. Okay, and then I guess she takes the deal to work for Sachi.
She lets you out. There's a car waiting outside for you, and along the car ride, you sit there and hold that jar. There's a warmth inside of that jar. You can't truly explain it. It feels alive, so to speak. Something alive inside of it. But you can't see anything. There's nothing when you shake it around. Nothing happens with it. And by the time you eventually get back to the hospital where your father is. What do you choose to do once you get into the room?
It's just kind of you're just so overwhelmed by everything. Like suddenly, she's hired under this bitch, and she's never gonna be able to quit, or so she says. And like her dad's in a coma. Just everything she went through goes through her head. She gets so angry that it all started so innocuously. Just the whole issue with needing money and needing to get a job. She looks at the jar.
Before you open up the jar, as you go through and think about all this, you just remember it all started when you lost your temper, when you lost your cool.
For a minute there, she was tempted to throw that jar against the floor.
You open it, and for a minute, it seems like nothing happens. You wait for another minute, still nothing. Until you hear a gasping breath come from your father. He's still very much asleep, but it's like he is in the middle of a dream. What do you choose to do?
I have in my pocket. I guess I have my cell phone. And the money. I guess leave the cell phone and the money. And the jar, on second thought. And then just go. Message. Go to the desk and leave a message about where she hid the money in her mattress.
You give the
And
message,
then, yeah.
and you see there's a man who's he's the one who drove you over. He's got this weird pin on his lapel that says it's got a card symbol that says Ace of Spades. He walks up and says, go and cancel that little message. Look, I don't know what the boss told you. And he pulls you over to the side. And he walks you over to a spot where you two can have a little bit of privacy. And he says, look, like I said, I don't know what the boss seemed to make it sound like, but this isn't the last you're gonna see your dad. We actually have a series. We have a little script that we need you to go through with your pop. And he pulls out a piece of paper, except you can see it, and it's very clearly blank. And he says, "You're gonna tell your dad that you got a very interesting college opportunity. Okay? Takes place in Los Angeles, central Los Angeles. You'll have the dorms and everything, but you're not going to be able to, you're going to be a little bit busy with that for a little while. And because of the job and your new schooling, you're going to be a little bit too busy. But you'll send him money, and you'll keep writing to him and let him know things are going well. Things are going well with the school." After all, your dad seems like the kind of guy who would probably be worried sick if you just vanished. And we don't need people following up.
Burst of sudden surge of anger. Like, well, what do you know?
I know a lot of things, and I know a lot of nothing. That's all I need to know. You actually notice that, unlike Sachi, who is kind of a bitch simply because she's just irritated about things all the time, this guy, he's just a jackass.
Is his name Rax?
No, his name's Jackson, actually.
Oh. Jackassin.
Jax is his name, which incidentally rhymes with Rax. Oh God.
Oh, whoa.
Whoa.
Mind blown.
So Jax, he says, you don't need to make it so dramatic. Just keep it on the down low, so that way your pops doesn't come following us asking for his kid back. We don't want to have to run into any complications. And in the line of work you're about to get into, I don't think you want him to get into another situation like this, now do you? As he motions to the hospital.
Wordlessly grab the paper.
Yeah, all it says, the only words on the paper are, it's actually and this probably pisses you off enough to do something about it, but it's his grocery list. Milk, carton of eggs, stick of butter, some celery.
Stare at his, like, throw it on the ground, throw the pen at his face.
And he just kind of he just throws his arms up. You might want to go get your cell phone back, by the way. And I think your dad should be awake by now.
Teenager storms off back into
In teenager fashion.
in teenager fashion.
You go in and you see your dad. He's so confused. What's he doing in the hospital? He looks at you. He looks at you like he's just so happy to see you there. He doesn't say much. He notices the money on the table. It says, so what happened?
I got accepted into a college, and then out comes the whole bullshit story.
You give him the bullshit story, but and he seems to nod, and he's very happy for you and all. He's just sitting there wondering though how he ended up here. And the doctor comes in and explains for you. Thankfully, the doctor comes in and says, "Oh, you were found passed out on your driveway. It seemed like you had undergone a slight stroke. Must be from all the stress." And your dad seems to agree with that. He says, "Yeah, things haven't been really good lately." And oh, well. And he looks at you and says, don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. Just go and do great things with your life, okay? That's all I could ever ask for.
Okay.
And you guys finish signing up and everything like that, and you go home. There's no sign of Jax anywhere, by the way. When you get to your house, he helps you pack everything up and says, "Well, how are you gonna get it over to the campus?" Then you get a ring on your cell phone. Your smartphone seems to already have Jax's face on for a picture.
Suppress the urge to throw phone against wall.
Do you choose to answer?
I just let it sit there for a couple seconds just to spite him. And then I answer.
Sounds almost like he's talking to someone else right now.
Hang up.
And then he says, "Oh, she actually picked up. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna tell your dad that you've got some people coming over who are gonna help move your stuff over. Okay, some your dorm mates. We'll be over in a second." And you hear him hang up the phone. And you look around frantically trying to figure out where the fuck is he? How did he know that? All your stuff packed up, you sit on the driveway, and suddenly you see Jax and some other lady come out of the car, and they're dressed in like t-shirts and jeans and stuff like that, and say, "Oh, how you doing, Mr. Kingsley? We heard we're supposed to be picking up some stuff for your daughter and getting her acquainted with UCLA, with the campus. We're part of the mentorship program. We're supposed to be. It's part of our thing to help new students and get them in. into the school in the most comfortable way possible. And he's completely got a different demeanor entirely. He actually fully seems to be committed to the part. Both of them. Like, if you hadn't met them before, you'd probably be convinced that they're telling the truth. You kind of just you go along with it. You're not super thrilled about it, and you put your stuff into the car. And then Jax looks over at you and says, "Well, okay, I think we got everything good to go, Mr. Kingsley. Would you like to have a moment to say a few things to your daughter before we go?" And he says, "Yes, please. That'd be great, Jeff." And they go into the car. Your father doesn't say. He looks like he's trying to find words to say. I mean, the whole thing kind of just happening suddenly is a shock for him too, and it seems really strange to him. And he just gives you a hug.
Oh.
And says, "You're a smart kid. You're a smart, wonderful young woman, and I know you'll do great things. Just take care of yourself, okay? And be sure to write back."
Yeah. You too, Dad.
And with that, he, sees you off and says, "Just give me a call once a week or something. All right?"
I will try. Wave goodbye.
You wave goodbye as you get into the car. And Jax, at that point, completely drops his act and is like, "Whoa, call back once a week."
Okay, this time actually try to punch him in the face.
You hit him, and he doesn't seem to give a shit. He just laughs at it. He just laughs about it. He is a douchebag.
He's an asshole.
You guys make it to central LA, and you find yourself going into the most jacked up looking neighborhood you've ever seen in your life. Hobos rampant. The place is a little dirty looking, and then you stop in front of this abandoned looking apartment complex that you swear is pretty much, it should be riddled with hobos. Hobos, roaches, and other unwanteds. Stops, pulls out your stuff. "Welcome to your new dorm. College life. Yeah."
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
He hands you a card and says, "If you lose this card, you're pretty much dead. Let me show you why." And he slides up to the door, and he takes out his card, opens up the mail slot, throws it in. You see someone on the other side open up the door, and there are 3 shotguns aimed at the door. He says, "After you." Picks up his card and says, "Now I gotta go meet with the boss. The boss sends her regards. You'll get your payment soon, and also she wants the mask back."
Pull it. Just pull it out of the backpack and hand it to her. Hand it to him, I guess. Or like try to hit him with it again.
You hit him with it. He opens up the box and takes a look at it. And for a moment, you actually see him become a little more serious. He looks at it. Well, she went a little overboard with that. Closes the box, and he goes into the car. Very careful with the thing, by the way. He seems to walk by and mutter something about spirit, like a spiritual protection of some kind. He's just talking to himself, almost like the way his mind operates when he's absorbing information. He has to hear himself talk. Is the kind of person you
Mm.
imagine him being. And then he sits into the car, continues talking to himself, stops, looks up, puts the mask away, and then leans out and says, "See you later, college kid. Don't party it up too hard. You can't afford alcohol yet." And then he drives away.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Flip him off as he drives away, not that he can see it. Yeah, now I'm at the mansion.
Now you're at the
The,
chateau,
the house thing.
chateau a la New Hunters.
Or AKA University of Hobos.
University of Hobos.
Are you ready to major in homelessness? Awesome.
um, the monster that you were dealing with, and this is meta just because you've already dealt with it now. The monster that you particularly dealt with, uh, that was supposed to be a really sort of just an awkward kind of a monster. Most of what you
Oh.
not well, he's not really awkward. He actually is fucking dangerous. But because you made a very smart decision, it made it harder. It made my job enormously harder. Which was you put the mask on when you went
Oh.
to sleep. He actually waits until you go to sleep, and right before he's about to steal your soul, you wake up and you're supposed to like you would have been in bed, and then you suddenly jolt awake and you see him hovering over you, like on your bed, like reaching for your face. That was supposed to be the big scare moment, but you put on the mask, and then I couldn't do it because he can't see you when you have the mask on. He just avoids looking at you in general because well, you got that mask on.
Oh.
The mask itself was supposed to be more of a it was a mask to ward off the spirits in typical uh, Asian folklore,
Mhm.
where during China, we have the
Yeah,
celebrations
like
where we wear the masks and parade
yeah.
around to
If
ward
it's
off the
if it's
demons.
scary, yeah. If
Yeah,
it's scary enough, it'll scare him.
yeah, scare off the demons, the bad spirits, and that was the objective here that Sachi seemed to go for. So the yeah, I hope that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good. Fun for you.
It it
Uh,
always will be, but I've always got my own gripes of, oh, I should have done that. No, I could have played around with this more. I
right.
spent too much time here, didn't do enough there. Um, but no, I didn't imagine you were like gonna get that in depth with the hotel.
Oh, I like no, like I completely forgot about the fourth floor. With
I
like an
am
accident. I was like,
surprised you
oh,
remembered about the fourth, like you even bothered to go back up to the fourth floor. Like when
oh,
you did that, a lot of what I do, you'll learn this about me as we go through and do more of these sessions, is you'll find that I am extremely, uh, I will make shit up on the spot
yeah.
very frequently. I will make shit up on the spot. Um, but uh, when you kind of confront me with something that I'm not expecting, I have to be able to react to it and keep it
Yeah.
going. And it does play into it. Everything that you did had an effect and had a reason on why certain other things happened later on. For
Yeah.
example, you actually weren't supposed to have made any real contact with Sachi.
Oh, but then I did.
But then you got in her face about it. You went right up to her, and well, what else was she supposed to do? The events that take place for you in the timeline actually take place right before Devo's character. And that's
Oh.
when they go out to. They actually. The two members of the Lucifuge and the two members of Aegis Kaidoru go with two Cardian members, which are Jax and Alron.
Mhm.
You met both of them. Alron was the woman who was very silent. She didn't say
Mhm.
anything, but for some reason, being around her, you're not quite sure what it was. There was a smell in the air or something. It smelled very calming. Like when you smell chamomile tea, it just calms you. Just being around her seems to make you a little bit calmer, but then Jax pisses you off enough to where you have to, go back to being mad.
Yeah.
Um, so then they go out and then they find Devo. Um, your character will go through, interact with the rest of the team tomorrow. Um, inside you find there's one member of the Cardians. His name is Ashton, and he is from the UK. He's got a jack of spades. His job is basically to help kind of run you guys through a couple of the basics, as he calls them. And you guys are going to go learning a little bit about how to deal with shit. Although he
Okay.
does say very plainly that, well, on this particular job, the way that the Cardians train, you're not guaranteed to survive.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Wait, who is the tired lady?
She is a member of the Lucifuge.
Oh, okay.
She is descended from the blood of Lucifer. There are
Oh,
only
that
666
sounds
members,
lovely.
and that gives her some control over demons.
I see.
But she fights for the sake of humanity, in order to protect humans from demons. They specialize in that.
Yeah.
But she was just a tired lady who happened to be a troll. She didn't know that there was a deeper door in there, and when you found that, what you actually hear in the news is that the hotel burned down.
Oh my god.
So you ended up having certain consequences further down the line. As it turns out, what you eventually go on.
Is it like I unearthed some kind of demon conspiracy in the hotel or something like that?
You unearthed a cult.
Oh shit.
You figure that out later on as Ashton gets information and Jax comes in and says, "Oh, hey, kiddo, guess what? You know that thing you did over at the hotel? Yeah, well, everybody who worked at the hotel's dead now." Turns out they're a part of a huge cult. Really big cult.
What?
I kind of like that Philomena gal, too. Too bad she's a cultist. Was a cultist. Now she's dead.
Oh my god.
Hurts me deep. Hurts me deep. She knew how to fold. She knew how to fold a mean bed.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Like,
It came out as nothing.
Like, it comes out, like, I guess the way it peters out for your character is kind of just like the understanding that your actions have consequences.
I see. Hmm.
But hey, if you hadn't done it, think about it. If you hadn't gone and found it, what might have happened?
People kept dying. Or my dad eventually goes in there, like Noel's dad eventually goes in there and gets stabbed or something.
Get sacrificed. Yay! Turns out that the Cardians were there for the sole purpose of figuring out what the fuck was going on with that place anyway. Because they heard some things. That necklace, yes. Then you found a lot of shit that your character actually later on would find out more about and be like, what? I did that? your character
Man,
gets a
I was
glove.
badass.
Your character gets a card that is the two of clubs.
Two of clubs.
Yes, two of clubs. Um, but no, the necklace that you found actually was uh, it was it was how do I describe it? So the cultists basically had summoned a demon, a greater demon.
Mhm.
It didn't manifest entirely, so they managed to fit it inside of an item. If it had manifested entirely, it would have taken over the entire building, but they could only fit it inside the necklace. So they took the necklace, left it out in a spot where where someone who was going to rent out the room would pick it up, and then that thing would come out and take their souls and walk back and come back to the hotel with the souls, so they can continue to harvest and use that to fuel a greater summoning. Your dad's soul was about to be used for that.
Uh,
Oh God, awesome! I dig it. Is that Jackson?
yes.
Is that Jackson, douchebag?
Maybe. Maybe he's the
Uh,
evil black shirt thing. I don't know.
you don't know. What do you know? Dude, the cherubs were definitely one of the most fucked up things I've done to anybody.
That's the best. It's pretty funny. I was kind of waiting for the intense, scary, critical moment though, and then I was like, oh, right.
Yeah,
This is
I feel
it's
bad
not.
because it was kind of like it was a build up, but then you ended up constantly like punching it in the face, and I'm like, shit, how am I supposed to deal with this? You can't make it scary when you keep winning.
Too strong for you.
For
Step up
now,
your game.
I gotta step up my game. I gotta find the thing, and I gotta do it. I'll find a way. Maybe next time I'll just put a monster in the computer or something.
Oh God.
Critical fails all over the place. Oh no! How do I use this thing? How do I do it? Oh God, the sun's coming up. All right, let's get into the fun part. Experience points. You
Yeah.
definitely did a lot.
Do I get points for smashing your scary thing
Yeah,
to
you
pieces?
do actually. It's funny because Devo was also kind of like he was on that same track too, where he was just I'm not sure if I'm losing my edge or what, but uh, you guys definitely were seeing past my bullshit too soon. I have to find ways to reenact the bullshit and make sure it sticks. 1 point automatically, 1 point of experience.
Where do I write this? Do I just
It's on your character sheet right next to. Where the hell does it? Did they take it off? I think it's on one
can't
of the other
find it.
pages. It's on one of the other pages, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Write it randomly somewhere, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, you can write it somewhere else, and pretty much you're just banking these points anyway. They're the first set. Learning curve. What did you learn? What did your character learn throughout all of this?
Don't trust shady people for money.
That's a good one.
Also, keep taking stuff from people. No, that's a good thing.
That's a lesson learned. It can potentially help you. I'll take it. So that's 2 experience so far. Role playing. You did a really good job of portraying this character. Like there were points where I was like, how am I supposed to deal with you because your character gets so mad. Who would be the best character? Jax. Because Sachi is one of those characters I had to actually like when I had her dealing with you, I had to pull her back because I realized that oh God, if you keep hanging out with Sachi, bad things are gonna happen. You are going to get into a fight.
Yeah, she is.
Which is good. We
Great.
need a character who causes problems. And
Yeah.
this is an additional point for let's see. Hot-headed. I'm sure there's gotta be an optional flaw. Because your notoriety isn't really going to play into effect, so I'm gonna adjust your flaw.
Okay. Tempo problem.
Yeah, your new flaw is going to be uncontrollable temper.
Okay.
And what that would mean is in any social situation where you're required to keep your calm, like you can roleplay it out, but when it comes down to stats, I will let you know.
Oh.
And it will come down to your manipulation and your socialize or anything that requires you to remain calm. If you are required to remain calm in order to perform this task, like say you're trying to defuse a bomb, your temper and your frustration as you build up frustration, you will suffer negatives because you won't be able to focus. You're so mad. So that's going to be your new one. So just type that out and just be
Okay. Uncontrollable.
temper. And so your
Awesome.
temper will often get the better of you. That's going to be your new flaw, and I'm going to award you for that. So that's 4 XP so far. Heroism. I won't say that your character did anything particularly heroic. I mean, you were curious and all of that, but it takes a
Yeah, just
conscious
kind of.
effort. Yeah, it kind of just happened. And I feel so bad because I wanted your first session to be a little more on the, like something you'd be able to walk away and be like, that was fucking terrifying. Unfortunately, you played it smart, and you didn't do anything that was like I gotta figure out one really weird thing about this game is the GM has to basically play a psychologist, not to
I
sit down,
know.
figure out
It's great.
what scares you the most, and I have to figure out what scares you because I don't know what scares you. I was kind of just groping in the dark. I was like, I got it. This is totally gonna creep someone out. Didn't work.
Nope.
I'll find one. I will find one.
Awesome. So, till then, I can keep giving Sachi grief.
Yeah,
That'll be great.
and it will be good.
Has anyone else been like antagonistic toward her?
No, not so far. No one's been
Woo.
particularly antagonistic towards her, so you're kind of up there, which is totally fine. I don't expect everybody to actually like her, because at the end of the day, she's a really snarky bitch. Like she's powerful, yes, but she's a bitch, and I don't know. And I was kind of like hoping that it would piss someone off.
Yeah.
Someone's got to get pissed off at her bullshit.
Awesome.
So you got 4 points so far after the story. Now you have success. Your characters achieved all or part of their goals. Yes. Danger. You survived against harsh odds and grave dangers. It was a grave danger. If you hadn't slept with that mask on, you would have actually been in the fight of your fucking life.
Woo!
So you get a point for that one. Wisdom. Player and thus his character devised a brilliant plan or came up with a spontaneous solution that enabled the group to survive and succeed. Yes, you got that one too. So you've got 7 experience points. That's a lot more than other people have gotten.
Woo.